Hey, what's up? I'm E-Rach. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey, figure out how these lasers and apps work. First, I want you to check out the Unieye, if you haven't already. That'll show you how the basic fundamentals things work. Once we figure that out, we're going to add it to the apps. Second of a pretty big series of how to do more technical wingsuit jumps, starting with very basic stuff, and then we'll elaborate more in your videos. Take a look at my table of contents if you want to get something specific, but I'd highly recommend watching the whole thing because I don't really repeat myself if I go over something in one app and it's the same in the other app. So take a look at the whole thing and then get whatever you need. Have fun. See you on the exit point. If you want to do comparison in the field, there's 3 apps to use: Baseline, Base Beta, and Exit Eval. This is Baseline. It's pretty basic. All you're really going to want to use is the profile function. Unfortunately, Baseline only is available on Android system. So bust out your Android and let's go right into it. Now you're in profiles, you're going to go to start new profile. You're going to want to give a name. Make sure it's unique to the object you're at. In North America, we usually just name it after the cliff. The next step is to make sure our laser is ready. So we turn it on, turn our Bluetooth on the app, and then we're also going to check the horizon to make sure it's calibrated correctly. After that, we're going to lean over the edge and get some laser readings. When we're using our Unieye laser, we're going to make sure it's up, straight, and down. That makes sure that we get the right angle. The angle helps us know the distance away from it, and that's very important for building a profile. When we're using our laser, we're going to try to take our closest reading to us. That's going to be if we go straight down. But I don't think you're going to go straight down, so aim a little bit further out. Left or right, take that. If you go too far out, you're going to need to use a simulator. You're also going to want to take your landing area. That's very important, so we know where to open the parachute. After we've taken all our laser readings, we're going to push save. After we saved it, we can either put tracks over top of it or put it next to another profile. Both apps come with stock profiles, so if you take a laser reading, you can compare it to another profile and kind of see how good it is. But in order to get GPS flights, you're going to have to go somewhere and get some flights. The best place would be somewhere conservative. My choice would be Brunto, as you can just fly straight out and really see how much distance you can get from an object. At the start, repetition is important. Yeah, it's important, but I want to do the technical stuff. No, seriously. Take some time, do some jumps on a specific location where the altitude is going to be constant. Check different days, different types of seasons, temperatures, varying wind conditions, katabatic cycles, maybe even where the moon is in the sky. This is really going to change how you fly just a little bit, and if you can predict it, you're going to be so much better off. Okay, ran over. Back to the stuff. If you take this flight, for example, you'll notice that it's kind of close to the red line. And that's just because that was kind of my idea for the flight characteristics. So it's pretty on point with the flight I will be taking. And on this flight particularly, anything to the right of what I lasered is open space. So if I just don't feel like I'm flying good, I can just keep going right and I'm going to have more space all the way to the landing area. So the reason why I take this profile is try to identify how stressful a flight is and how I need to fly. In this case, it's pretty easy and it's just fun. Another important thing to do is load tracks onto your baseline. So you're going to go into your flysight, open up the last date, open up the last number, and then we're going to bring our track, drag it over to our profile gatherer, and now we have our flight. So our flights are really good to have on baseline, and we're also going to want to take a look at what our flights look like on a graph. So that's what our flights look like, and then we can get profiles of different flights, or in this case, I'm going to use the same profile we just took and see how the flight compares. So there you can see the start was all right, and then just flew over that edge, and then it dived deep. That was a really sharp turn around the curve, and then opened up and landed. This is the most important information that you'll be able to use on the fly in the app. You can go into a lot more detail even in the app, but this is just a quick overview and you can see how your flight compares to a profile. Base Beta has the same sort of setup. You're going to go into analysis, and in the top right corner you're going to go to that plus with a circle around it. Once you click it on there, we're going to go into our new profile, make a name for it, connect your laser, and then start shooting your lasers. Until recently, I've had troubles connecting lasers, but it seems like the last update has fixed that. If you do run into any problems, just message Brendan and he should be able to fix it. The ping sound in Base Beta means that your laser readings are being recorded. That's a good thing. The display on your cell phone, if it turns off, you might possibly lose stuff. So longer display will help, or just being quick at shooting. Base beta also requires tracks. So if you're traveling light, all you need is a USB-C to whatever your phone jack is, and just plug that in, and you can manually upload tracks onto your phone. Once you're in base beta, go to tracks, click on add a track, go into browse, then pick no name, which is the name of my flysight, pick the latest date, then pick the last number in the file, and then find track, and then it'll upload. If you're using the computer version, this is what it's going to look like. Pretty much the same. You can just click a track and upload it. The more tracks you have, the more useful it's going to be. There is another function on base beta, which I'm just going to take a look at. It's called the function. And the function will be able to take a look at a graph and say you have a point that you want to clear. So this is squat peak. You can see that part might be a little bit stressful, so you're going to want to take a look at that, pick the ping, and then we're going to have the x and y coordinates. They're going to be in the corner there. We're going to take those x and y coordinates, and we're either going to compare the x-axis or the y-axis to all the tracks we have on file on base beta. So after that, we're going to go to tracks. We're going to click on the FX button. Now we're going to pick X or Y coordinates depending on what we're going to want to see. The X is the distance away and Y is the distance fallen down. So there we can see that Goliath and Bombshell would both clear with 49.2 and 49.7. And that checks out because both those flights were high performance starts, where the other ones I wasn't too concerned about the start, so I didn't try so hard. Another reason why base beta is pretty nice is because it has those little green circles. That means that the data is very highly accurate. When you're getting into these more technical jumps, you want to make sure that your GPS is going to be very accurate. If you're jumping a lot of things like in Lauterbrunnen, there's a chance that you might be off by several meters. That's one thing that you'll be able to find out on base beta versus baseline. The final app is Exit Eval. I just found out about this. It has a pretty streamlined surface for the ISO. It's got profiles, tracks that you can import, same way as base beta, and compare just like the other ones. The map is going to be a standalone, and it'll just be the things you have on. It doesn't connect to anything else. Let's dive right into profiles. So click on profile, then you have your saved profiles, or create one. You're going to want to go into connect laser. Once your laser is on, you'll have your laser to pick from. It'll be either Unieye or BT. After your laser is connected, you're just going to shoot a profile just like you've done in the other apps. After you're done that, you're going to click Save Profile. And then we're going to exit by pushing Profile. Then you're going to go back into the main menu, push Exit Eval. Then we're going to go back into Import Tracks. In Import Tracks, it's just going to be like base beta, where you can take them off your flysight, or you can airdrop them off a computer and then have them in your browser file and then pick them out, and then your tracks are there. Then we're going to go back into the main menu, and after we enter our main menu, we're going to go into Compare. Once we're in Compare, we're going to apply our profiles. So we're just going to click on Profile, get our profile we want, and now we have it on our screen. Next, we're going to want to add our GPS tracks, which we've already preloaded. So click on your GPS tracks. We only have one there, so there it is. Now that you have your profile and your tracks lined up there, you can check out how you would do on previous jumps versus the profile you have right here. I'm going to go a lot more into this, into evaluating jumps, but this is just how the app works. There's one more thing to look over. We're going to go back to the main menu, click on tracks. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. We're going to click on a specific track in the right corner. We're going to click on that. It's going to give us more data. This is our time track. It's got time going across the bottom to the right. You can see our elevation is dropping. We're trading that for vertical speed. We can turn our vertical speed for horizontal speed. We got our max speed, and glide ratio is pretty important for some jumps. We're going to go more into that into statistic jumps. Another more statistical thing we're going to go into is polar curves. Not going to touch much on that, but this has that function. Well, those are the apps. Baseline was first. Then we have base beta, a little bit different spin on things. Also for the ISO. And then we have Exit Eval, which came out for the ISO. So whatever one you're using, just make sure you're gathering data, building up your technical repertoire by writing down what affects your starts, how long it takes to get to the 45 ratio. We're gonna go more into technical stuff. Next up is simulator, so check that one out. That's a way to take a look and do safe jumps, pre-jump things before we go out and jump them. But we're gonna need very consistent jumps, consistent exits. Once we start getting our data to be very consistent and repeatable, and the differences vary based on our own expectations, then we'll be able to do more technical jumps with definitely some margins rather than just winging it. And doing more technical jumps safely is really fun. So I hope you'll join me. Catch you later. All right, just adding one amendment here. When taking the laser readings, I said I don't laser straight down. That is a bit misleading. I mean, for non-technical jumps, I'm not really lasering straight down because I don't really need to, because everything should be sheer and overhung. But then when we get into more technical jumps, it's going to be broken down to an athletic. So I'm definitely lasering that to figure out that. And then conditions are going to come in because that streamlessly goes into flying. But these will be covered in other videos.